goes like that. So that's what we have to do. So if we have to go through, so step one is, sorry about that. So step one, define the hypothesis. Right? So null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. And alternative hypothesis, notice that this is a variance test. So we say sigma square does not equal to for rocket A does not equal to sigma squared for rocket B, right? So that's the alternative hypothesis. So we always first go to alternative hypothesis and define that, and that's very important. So you want to look at alternative hypothesis test. And I said alternative hypothesis never includes equal sign, right? So it's either greater or less or does not equal to. And null hypothesis here is the same here, except that equals to sigma square for rocket B, right? So that's the difference. Or if you just write that out, it's going to be just equal for sigma square for rocket B, right? And step two, you have to define the statistic. And this is a two sample variance test, and this is an F test. So this is an F test, and the formula is F equals variance A over variance B. Right? That's the formula. If you look at the question, I mean the section, you will see that too.
So to define the statistic, I would know that because
it's a variance test.
Okay.
So that's in my book. It's not high school text. Yeah.
So in my book, it's section 8, page 57 is the paired comparison hypothesis test.
That's right. That one is.
Shows the F equals S1 squared over S2 squared.
Yeah.
And then the table is on page 58 in my book.
That's right. Thank you, Michelle. So that's how you do that, and how you find that formula. And now we have to define the rejection region, right? So reject if F star is greater or less than F statistics. So that's and this is a two-tail test. This two-tail test, alpha is 0.05. So the alpha for right tail is 0.05 divided by 2, which is 0.025. The same goes for left tail, which is 0.025. right? So you have to use alpha 0.025. It's because alternative hypothesis says sigma does not equal to sigma 2, right? So sigma squared for rocket B. So that's why we are using 0.025. If it says sigma squared is greater than rocket B, then it's a right tail test. Therefore, we are going to use 0.05. But instead, we are going to be using 0.025 for that reason. Okay, so let's find the rejection region. So the first one says we have a degree of freedom. We have to find the degree of freedom. Degree of, let me see. So degree of freedom. And we have rocket A and rocket B. And that's n-1, okay? That's n-1. And we know rocket A, it says 61 readings, right? 61 readings minus 1 is going to be 60. That's the degree of freedom that you have. And for rocket B, that's 31 minus 1, so it's 30. Right, that's a degree of freedom. And so we have to read this value. And another thing that we have to remember is which one's degree of freedom is greater. And it says, the question says, assume that larger variance goes in the numerator, right? So the larger variance is 2,237, right? So rocket B has to go on the numerator, and rocket A has to go on the denominator. So that's 1,037. So let's go for F test, F, okay, degree of freedom, and F for rocket B, comma, and F for rocket A. And so we have to also have alpha, right? So alpha 0.025, comma, degree of freedom for rocket B, and degree of freedom of rocket A. This means F 0.025, comma, 30, comma, 60, right? So that's the value that you want to find. And F distribution, and alpha is 0.025, comma, degree of freedom is 30 and 60. And cumulative, yes. F distribution, Fx. .025 times 30, 60. No. Oh, okay, 0.025, 36.
Since it's the probability, is it 1 minus 0.025, like the Z one?
Let me try. Hold on. Oh, you're right. Yes. So, yes. So f dot inverse function and 1 minus 0.025, comma, degree of freedom 30 and 60. Yeah, this is the way to go. So that's 1.815. So this is the rejection region, meaning reject F star if F star is greater than 1.815. Step 4, calculate the statistic. So F star, this one is simple actually, equals the greater variance is 2,237 miles divided by 1,347 miles, and that gives you 1.66. Since F star equals 1.66 is less than 1.81, fail to reject the null hypothesis. Step 5, conclusion. State the conclusion. The conclusion is there is insufficient evidence to state that sigma square for rocket A is
Equal to?
equal to sigma square for rocket. That's the conclusion, and the answer, no significant difference because F calc is less than F table. The answer is B. So it's a long way of answering, but this is how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, so this question you have to be careful about. Yeah.